All right, you ready for this episode? Episode number 3, season 5. Malik Zaire is back on the We Are ND Nation podcast. He is Dennis and my host for today, and he is going to be speaking his mind on the Irish's disappointing 16-14 upset loss to NIU this past Saturday, with a scathing assessment of the Notre Dame fan base and Marcus Freeman and that faithful at Notre Dame. Will Dennis rant today? We will check that out here shortly. Do not miss this explosive episode starting now. Here we go. We Are ND Nation podcast episode number 3, season 5. I am Evan J. Thomas. With me always is Dennis Stover. We have a special guest, Malik Zaire, but we will get into him in a moment. Today's show, we will recap now number 18 Notre Dame's disastrous 16-14 loss at home to NIU this past Saturday. We will be previewing this Saturday's game as the Irish head into West Lafayette, Indiana to take on Purdue. And we will have your fan questions. We got a bunch of them today. We have our Idiot of the Week, which Dennis and I picked. At least I hope he is still on board with that one this week. And I'd like to introduce our guest now. So he is a former Notre Dame quarterback, played from 2014 to 2016. He was my co-host here on the We Are ND Nation podcast for the first 2 seasons and currently hosts the Lucky Lefty podcast. Welcome back to the show, Malik Zaire. My man.
Yes.
What is up?
Hey, Ben Morrison is up. That's what I like.
Yeah, I like that shirt. That's nice.
Get a Ben Morrison in there. So we celebrate our great players and shit. Hopefully we can continue keeping it rolling, man.
Yeah, I hope so. Although Ben let a couple of plays slip through his crack. Yeah, it sure was. The whole defense was uncharacteristic.
So but hell, you watching what we put on the field, I feel like they was shocked too.
We had some very interesting takes that I've seen all over the internet the last 2 days on Notre Dame and playing at Notre Dame Stadium as an away team. I want you to kind of, Malik, bring out what you kind of said and why.
Oh, man. So, I just think the intimidation level, the toughest places to play in college football, Notre Dame probably ranks in the bottom half, probably the bottom 5. I mean, there is no intimidation. In fact, we are the number 1 school in the nation to give the opposing team the motivation to beat us. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's true away and home. It just sucks that it works at home, but even away, any team we play, they treat it like the Super Bowl. So things you see on film, things you see against what they do against other teams, for whatever reason, when they come play us, it is the best game of their life. Right now, the perspective of Notre Dame is come have the game of your life. Mm-hmm. Set records, break records, make history playing Notre Dame. That's all we do is just give whoever. I mean, we talking about the history. We had a Gatorade bath in week 2. And they finished bottom of their conference at the end of the season. We got a grown man crying in national television in week 2. Week two. They may finish at the bottom of their conference by the end of the season. But it doesn't matter because they won the Super Bowl in week 2. Right. Yeah. And we just continue to give everybody I don't know. It's the weirdest thing ever.
So, Dennis, you and I, the past couple of days, I've been getting you off the ledge. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I want you to just talk about your feelings right now on this game and what you from week 1 to week 2. Let's just go from
Malik is 100% right. I actually read his article on Saturday after the game, or maybe it was Sunday morning, on the news feed I get, and I couldn't agree more. There's no intimidation. It's a nursing home as far as silence. It's just
guys, you hear them operating. They over there talking on the sideline. They comfortable. Hard count. No, it's just we just practicing. It's just practice.
It seems like it all started in I think it was the 97 or 98. I might be wrong on the year, but it was when Nebraska came to ND Stadium and they had the whole corner and Scott Frost, and they went on to win that game. And the Nebraska Big Red took over that whole corner. I mean, I think they had a quarter of the, I don't know, it was close to, I mean, obviously it didn't have more Notre Dame fans, but still, it was a big contingent.
Noticeable.
It noticeable isn't the word. So that, I think, was setting the foundation of, man, this place isn't that scary at all. I mean, they're talking about the same places that Rocket Ismail and us beating Michigan and all those great games, the green jersey games at SC.
Man.
I mean, there's just, but like you just said, there's no intimidation factor. You know, ND Stadium should stand for not dominant stadium because, you know, here you go. And what else is more infuriating is the fact that we gave, well, not we, but ND gave NIU 1.4 million to come in and give us the probably, I mean, I've seen a lot of bad losses in my, you know, I've been a Notre Dame fan since 1985. I'm 48. It's like 40 some odd years of cheering for the school. And I love, and I've given so much to them. But after Saturday, I'm to the point where I don't give a shit now. I'm doing this show because I love hanging out with Evan and meeting wonderful people like yourself, because this team does not deserve any more of somebody like myself who's been so and hung on and can relate to this life experience with this team. I can't give any more of this. It's madness. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and expecting a different, it's like, you know, and there's no one person to blame. It falls on Freeman. It falls on this silly, however much money we gave in NIL to Riley Leonard. I'm not going to say anything bad about this kid, but the mom needs to start saying, you're great, and maybe he'll play great, because this "you suck" thing metaphor and these fucking bracelets suck. That's what sucks. Tell the kid he's great and maybe he'll play great. Because I don't know, you know, it's just this guy cannot push the ball downfield. And Mike Denbrock called a clunker of a game, and the defense gave up way too much to this team. I can go on and on and on, but it's already been said. It's just, it's just disappointing. It's just, ND fan base doesn't deserve this.
What do you change?
Alumni doesn't deserve this. Former players like Malik Zaire do not deserve this.
Steve Angeli doesn't deserve this.
Thank you. Play peanut butter. What do they got to lose?
They have everything to lose now, because now you're going to fall on your face. You got to play Riley until the wheels fall off.
They gave him money.
And you gave him a captainship out of nowhere. You've been an ND fan for 40 years. When have you ever seen us give a captainship to a guy who just got there?
Never.
That too.
Never.
Never. I said, I don't know why they named him captain. Angeli should have been captain.
Angeli has earned it. If anything, Riley Leonard didn't play one game for Notre Dame and got a captainship. How? Sam Hartman got a captainship. How? So it just shows that either we're forcing something, which is shitting on the quarterback room that is developing. Our best passers are freshmen.
Yeah.
The room is good, but Marcus Freeman is selling to the world. We have nothing in the room.
Right. Oh, we do. This is the best quarterback talent we've had. And no offense to you and Deshaun, because you two were some of my favorites. I love Deshaun Kaiser and I like Malik Zaire very much. I mean, that was some of the best talent that Kelly had ever.
From a total perspective, yes, we're getting better. That's why this was the only year to play, because he's not better than the younger guys.
Yes.
The small window of a guy who knows everything that's going on. He's been through the ringer. It's just Notre Dame's one of those places you just got to go through some shit to be ready to play. Riley has nothing. So when he gets there, he doesn't understand the magnitude of how you just can't lose games like that.
Yes.
So how do other schools like Nebraska throw in a freshman at a quarterback and just be like, fuck it, you got the range?
Because Dylan Raiola was a good quarterback. Well, guess what? We have one too.
Carr.
Okay.
CJ Carr, Kenny Minchie's not to sleep on.
We didn't do CJ Carr like they did Dylan Raiola. You don't even know who else is on the quarterback roster at Nebraska, because they are all in on Dylan Raiola. He stepped on campus, he took all the reps, all the media, all the anything about Nebraska offense is Dylan Raiola. Coach talking about him. Oh yeah, he's kind of like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they're not ashamed to put their guy on Front Street. At Notre Dame, they can't decide who to play. They got 5 guys who can do it. This is not.
They didn't need to bring in a transfer.
The age of competing for the job at quarterback is over.
Yeah, over.
So if you're going to bring Riley in and force the situation, he shouldn't go into fall camp splitting the reps 3 ways. So half of it isn't his fault for the fact that you're throwing all this on him, not giving him the right reps he needs to win. and then telling him go out there with this team and dominate.
Yeah.
You can tell watching the game, he's not comfortable. He don't know what he's looking at. On top of him being
Hangs
limited,
onto the ball too long.
on top of him being limited, he wasn't letting Sam
Yeah.
Hartman throw on the football. This guy was under 3,000 yards, probably worse than Ian stats. And you know, and
Yeah.
Ian things, but he never threw over 3,000 yards either.
Right.
So the biggest gap that we had to fix from a 10-year gap, I would say, is that we have to get better at throwing outside the hashes. You bring a guy in who can't throw.
Right. He cannot throw.
So you go in two different directions. How you bring in Denbrock, who had 2 first-round receivers, 4,500 yards, a quarterback that won the Heisman, everything that you can spell and think, oh, this is going to be good for our passing offense. We get the number 1 receiver in the transfer portal. We get Bo Collins, who's a national champion, bunch of talent, whatever. We got Jordan Greathouse. We got Jayden Thomas. We got Mosley. We have 9 receivers and a new receiver coach.
Yeah.
And we have 8 quarters with 0 passing touchdowns.
0.
Yeah, and I saw
0
that.
passing
That's
touchdowns with a
Marcus
5 point
Freeman.
some odd 5 point whatever average of passing.
That's Marcus Freeman's lack of understanding the importance of a quarterback. He did everything else right. And it just shows you can do everything in the world right to build a program. If you don't got a quarterback, it does not matter. We will not see how good.
How long have I said this, Evan?
You've been saying that.
And it's crazy.
Day one.
And it's crazy because you can't point to anything else. And he didn't set himself up the right way. The right way you should have did it, because of who Riley was, especially coming off an injury, not being in the spring, is to make him a package quarterback. Angeli is the heartbeat of the team. He deserves it. He's undefeated as a starter. That it naturally makes sense to start him. If you want Riley so bad, then bring Riley in as a package, a change up, a couple plays until he can prove, 1, that he can play, 2, that he's better than Steve, and 3, that he's the guy we need to win playoff games with.
Right.
Instead, Marcus Freeman put himself in a box by shitting on Steve, putting all this on Riley. Riley's trash. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go back to Steve? You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that now. You're going to lose the team.
You're going to lose the team. And the only way to save it is if you put them freshmen out there. I don't want to see CJ out there right now. Not with the shit y'all just put out.
Well, not now, sure.
Not
They
now.
should have
So you
committed
have
to
to
him
play.
like they did, like you were saying.
So you have to play Riley. And you're going to ride Riley to the ground because you have no other way. Now, if you played Steve and you brought in Riley and we lost a game, okay, you can at least point to some development. Okay,
Right.
Steve's working through, but he's been here. He knows what to do as a transition. You can talk about that. You have no excuse for Riley. Because at the end of the day, you getting Riley, we didn't need him. But you getting him told the quarterbacks that we wasn't good enough in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, now you get Riley and saying to the world, we're going to win a championship. Because what was Riley so much better than Steve at?
Nothing.
I tell people, there's not a bunch of difference between Riley and Steve. Maybe Riley's taller, but they're both damn near the same. So to say we have to go get Riley and pay him $2 million, you're shitting on Steve, and then you're not giving yourself an out. Because now you're telling me with Riley, after all the great things Marcus Freeman has done to build this program in year 3, that we're going to win a championship. Because we can win 11 games with Steve. Hell, we can win 11 games with CJ. Hell, we can win 11 games with Kenny.
Yep.
What did we pay Riley for? For 2 playoff games, potentially.
Right.
And we hope he's ready by the time he gets to that point.
But I want to know what all these people thought they saw, because he had an 8-4 season and he played a decent game, a pretty good game against the Clemson
team. He didn't even
team.
finish the game against us.
Right. That's what I mean. Who ever thought that this cat was a first-round draft pick needs to have their job revoked?
Who thought that doing it 2 years in a row, we whooped Sam and then told him to come to Notre Dame? We whooped Riley and told him to come.
Right.
So it's like, what type of decisions are these?
I couldn't agree more. I don't know what it was that it's not like the ACC was this trailblazing conference, where quarterbacks were thriving and stuff. I mean,
he's at a basketball school.
Right. Both basketball schools.
Like, they forgot that they even played football. So it's like, Riley, you went to a school with no pressure. No pressure.
No pressure.
They care about the Duke basketball team. You went in there and was more athletic than the halfway recruits that you had around you. So they felt bad. It was like, oh, you're uplifting these other Fiats. But he's a Fiat too. Yeah. Because now you take a Fiat and put it in a Mercedes car lot
Man,
Falls are
that's
going to
a
be
great analogy.
not
So
a fall.
I got a question for you guys. We're all talking so far right now about just the offense. The defense had a crap game.
They're not. That wasn't a top defense.
So we need
Now-
to talk about what the hell happened on that aspect. And then the punting was absolutely atrocious and 2 block field
Oh,
goals.
this whole rugby kicking guy.
I
Like,
don't know what that was. He was just
what
doing-
is this, man? This guy.
Where did we get the idea to get away from a traditional punter? I don't understand
Who
it.
knows? I don't
Like
know.
we do things that are just insane at the wrong time. I
All
think a
facets
lot
of
of
the
the
game.
defense. My
So,
biggest
Yeah.
about the defense last year or going into this season was we have no stars on the defensive line. We have a bunch of guys that are good, but you can't point one guy and be like, oh, he's the best player like a Isaiah Fauski, or that's a Stephon Tuitt, that's a Lou Nix. We got a bunch of average guys on the D line. Al Washington. Matter of fact, look at Justin Scott. Justin Scott making plays at Ohio State. He's supposed to be
right. I know. That was the one that got away.
So Al Washington, you're in question because where's the production? We got it so bad to where Marcus Freeman is caping in interviews and media press conferences saying, "Oh, we just need a push. We don't need sacks. We're not worried about sacks. We just need to get a pressure." Well,
Zero sacks against NIU. I know they have an experienced line. They have a lot coming back, but come on, man.
I was highlighted though. I love my young linebackers. Jaden Osbury is going to be a beast.
Oh, the linebackers played
Greg
pretty
Bowen's
well.
going to be a beast.
Yeah.
Now, Jalen Sneed didn't play great, but I like that
he missed some tackles. Yeah.
I like that he flies around. But Xavier Watson and Ben Morrison's out of characteristic type of games. But at the same time, look at how they was playing us. Run, throw a little bullshit pass, and it's like we're there, but it's 8 yards down the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nickel and dime. So it's
they looked like they went to the pick. They tried for a pick one too many times. Like they played the ball instead of playing the player.
Yeah, because they're like,
83,
I'm trying to get off the field. I'm answering chances. I'm gambling. I'm doing things because I'm just seeing them drive, milk the clock. So yeah, that's gonna be it puts us in a bad position because then when you don't score, you're looking at the defense like, man, y'all can't do nothing. Offense can't do nothing. It's a stalemate.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean, the defense, there was no good anything good to come of this game. No. And what people said, the defense, what's laughable and even more frustrating is the fact that they only gave up 16 points. They gave up a little too many yards, but still they could have overcame that easily. This is the stat that gets me. I believe that NIU had almost 10 minutes plus in the time of possession and almost 20 more plays than Notre Dame ran, if not more. I have to look.
All the 3 and outs we had hella 3.
They can't. I think right now in the season, Notre Dame is 6 and 30 something on third down conversions. I mean, you ain't gonna win a playoff game, and they certainly aren't a number 8. They're not a top 25 team to me right now at all. Period. At all, they're not a top 25 team.
But this is all going.
You don't lose to NIU, and on paper, sure. But guess what?
But this is going back to what preparation means and how important the value of the quarterback is.
Yeah.
You cannot blame the coaches in terms of a Denbrock or Al Golden, in my opinion. Because you tied Denbrock's hands. Denbrock told you before in the spring he needs continuity and he needs things to be flowing. If that's the premise, you throw in a guy the next session with 2 months, with not a lot of time to prepare, coming off an injury, it will never work.
Okay. So you think I said this early in the preseason show and before, I was like, Freeman, he's living and dying on this hill of the transfer quarterback, and he needs to get off it.
And he might die on the hill because
he's going to, because he's going to die with Riley Leonard, man.
And for what? Nobody told him that he needed to do that. He didn't even trust the thing he built. That's what the most frustrating.
Yeah, he had it. He inherited. I mean,
the best quarterback we've had. That's obviously I talk about all the time is Jack Cohn.
Yeah,
because guess what? Jack Cohn didn't come in with a captainship. He didn't come in with the full-time starter. Jack Cohn was a backup at Wisconsin.
Well, he had a 10-win season too, though, at Wisconsin.
A great compliment to a Tyler Buckner in a transition year. He's tough. He can do the things that we needed to do. He understood the quarterback, but he's a quarterback. His man broke his
He
finger.
did great.
Came back in the game, threw a touchdown.
Yep.
500 yards in the bowl game, 500 yards against Florida State first game.
Yep.
With less talent.
He only lost in one game at ND, and then somehow they gave that game away in the bowl game when had no business losing. But anyway, I digress.
Less talent. We had less talent then.
Yeah.
So what
A young offensive line, Blake Fisher and Joe Alt's first year starting.
Yes.
Young offensive line, and we won 11 games that year.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate
Madness
that the evaluation of the QB position has been so poor.
Yeah.
So poor. I don't know what film you looked at, or you didn't look at film when you looked at Riley Leonard's film.
Now they're believing all this silly, like, all the hype train on these
go on
cats
YouTube right now and check his film out.
You
go on YouTube
he hasn't
right
done
now.
anything. He's never done anything.
Like, so yeah, we're suffering, and that's Marcus Freeman's fault.
Yeah.
And it goes on nobody else because he put it on himself. I mean, why would you do that to yourself as a head coach? You have no scapegoats. You gave yourself no outs, and you built this up when you didn't have to do that. You have a great offensive coordinator, a great defensive coordinator, a great O-line, a great running back room.
Yeah, everything is great.
Tight ends are great.
Yeah.
Yet you continue to build all of that and then go hire a gun from China.
Right.
Everything was built in the USA, and you get the most important part from China. And when the shit is janky and don't work,
that's
what
wonderful.
Do you mean?
That's wonderful. Yeah, no, that's preach, because that is absolutely correct. I mean,
let's put this game behind us, which is going to be hard too.
Man, don't ever put this game behind us.
We're putting this game behind us, and we're
because this is what that's what I'm talking about.
The
that's
show.
The ND fan base.
Listen to me.
That's the ND fan base, man.
All right,
just we'll move on. Like Freeman saying, we've been here before. Man, you shouldn't be here before, dog.
All right, next subject then. Our top 3 worst losses in Marcus Freeman's career. Hopefully you guys.
Can I please go first?
I will let Dennis go. Number 3. We're going to go.
Number 3, NIU Saturday. Number 2, NIU Saturday. And number 1, NIU on Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we know where Dennis stands. Malik, did you do this one?
I think the third game probably an Oklahoma State game, just because I thought we haven't looked like Oklahoma State game since then. 500 yards, we could have been doing that for games. So that was the first one. Now that's halfway not his fault, but you're technically labeled the head coach. Second game, I say Ohio State. Because that was a program shifting game right there. Yeah. We could have changed the entire landscape.
Are you talking about the OSU at OSU or last year?
Last year.
Yeah.
That was the program changing. That's the biggest win in program history. Not this Texas A&M game who's going to unranked. They're going to finish unranked. They're not even going to make the playoffs. So that's not a win for me. So Ohio State and the coach and just everything included with that game, for it to be that close and you lose it is unacceptable. So that's the second craziest loss. Tied for second will be Stanford because they were terrible.
3-9.
Oh my God, they was terrible. And then David Shaw laughed as he was leaving as his last game. So that burned me.
It hurt me too.
Burned. Obviously the first was NIU just because it's just no measurement of how that could have happened, should have happened. And that's a shameful game. I don't
Yeah, that was
There's
rough.
no metric where you can look at it and be like, you got a chance. Not with how we build things, not with what we said we were, not us having a walkthrough on Thursday because we said we're trying to recover in week 2. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why are you doing a walkthrough on week 2? In week 2?
That's the hubris of Notre Dame sometimes, man.
All right, I'm gonna run down my top 3. My number 3 is Marshall 2022, the 26-21 loss. Notre Dame was a 20.5-point favorite. I was at that game. It was absolutely brutal. It was dead, as you guys have been attesting. Number 2, mine was the Ohio State game from last year. Obviously, the 10 men on the field, not enough. That's my number 2. And number 1, NIU. That was probably one of
But
these
these are terrible losses in Notre Dame history. Just forget
In history.
I still have Northwestern from 2015 up there. I was at that game.
Trevor Siemian was nice though.
I know, but we were up by 11 with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left. We were down
We
by
could have lost by like 30 points that game because remember all them drops they had? I'm talking about Trevor Siemian was diamond. And they just dropping and dropping and dropping. So they really could have blew us out. We just got lucky on some of that.
Yeah, I remember
All
that.
right. So we got our top 3 worst losses. Whew, take a breather for a moment. We got some fan questions we're going to get to. We got 3 of them here. Brad Booty, who actually was the one who asked the question last week, he asked, do you think Marcus Freeman will at least consider putting in another quarterback out there, or will Riley continue to be force-fed to us? A little note as of right now, Riley is actually noted to be the starter this Saturday. So let's hear what you guys have to say. I'll have Malik go first.
Yeah, you better play him. You better play him until he can't play no more. Because
that earlier.
This is reflection of you at this point. You have no outs. Riley, you have no outs. Let's get
He's living and dying on the hill.
Yeah, so because you set it up that way, yes, Riley better play. Yes, he better play better. And I think that, it's unfortunate with what they did to Steve. And I think they should involve more of the younger receivers, But at this point, you got to find ways to win. You got to find ways to win. And so
we got almost 5-star wide receiver Cam Williams from
Micah Gilbert, KK Smith, Micah Gilbert, great player.
Yeah.
So but the thing is, I would hold and reserve on talking about receivers because they won't get the shine this year.
Well, obviously Riley can't throw the ball more than like 7 yards, so there's an issue there to begin with. So
yeah, so you take it's all
damn swing passes left and right. Every other play is unreal.
It was too many red flags for Riley Leonard coming in that were just neglected. They were just neglected. They're blatantly neglected. Blatant things that other college football teams wouldn't do because they know it would tank their program. We didn't read.
They already got cats in the room too. Last year when we were going after, I was like, okay, I can understand taking Hartman in the portal because we had Kenny Minchie, true freshman, and then Carr wasn't even on campus, and then Jelly, he had no experience with it. So I kind of understood this. I told Evan, I said, I wish we don't need Riley Leonard this year. We're there. It's there because I guarantee you this loss wouldn't if we did lose and if we lost with Angeli under center, we probably wouldn't have been ranked so high because everybody was taking the bait, then 2, it would have been easier to swallow because it would have been like, oh, he's developing there's no excuse for this cat who's 22 and getting all this cred and everything for no reason. So it wouldn't hurt so bad.
If you didn't,
and then Freeman doesn't look so bad and look like he have egg on his face.
Yeah, Freeman could easily be like, "Oh, we got Steve. We working through some things. We got young guys, and then we trying to add Riley in."
Right. Should have stuck to the run more and not, But now it's just like you got nothing, dude. You got
Riley or nothing. Riley or nothing, and that's unfortunate for year 3 with so much potential.
Yeah,
so many things that we can be. So you put yourself in the box, Marcus Freeman. It's tough.
Sure did.
All right, I got a second question from our fan group. This one comes from Carol Sims. So she asks, why did they make it look so easy to block our field goals?
I think our long snapper is a little undersized for a long snapper.
You talking about 39? Oh my God.
It's like me out 39. There. It's like me out there.
Okay, I know I wasn't tripping. I'm like, why does the guy look
tiny,
so much bigger than the long snapper? Like, we gotta get some height in there or something.
I know long snappers are not generally big like normal snappers. I get that, but this guy seems real small.
Yeah, he looked like a scrawny guy. Like, I don't know.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't able to see it from my perspective of the game.
And they just pushed. They just pushed.
Yeah, they showed the slow motion. It's like I could have blocked that. It was like nobody there. It felt like just nobody was there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird.
Right. Yeah. One last one. Julian Rosales, our buddy Julian, got to see
Julian.
I'm kind of afraid to ask what he just asked here, but do you think that Notre Dame can still make the playoff or at least a top 12 finish?
I'm going to say no unless they can beat USC because USC And now I'm going to have super egg on my face because I said earlier, like Freeman may never lose again to Lincoln Riley. Well, I'm going to eat that shit because that USC team, their defense, they played Utah State or whatever. That's going to be the biggest game remaining on the schedule. But Louisville looks tough. Hell, Purdue could beat us.
Losing to NIU, I'm worried about Miami of Ohio.
Right. Thank
Losing
you.
NIU, I don't know how to feel about the rest of the season, honestly.
Yeah.
If
right now, they're not a playoff team.
If we're that susceptible to only score 13 points against a MAC school, I don't know where we're going to make up points from either way it goes. Like, right. I don't know. Like, you can just generate 40 points the next game. How? You can put 20 against the MAC school.
You guys both said 0 touchdown passes in eight quarters.
Sorry, 0 touchdown passes and 2 picks in 8 quarters.
Right.
Ooh. And 2 bad picks. Those were not even like close. Those were just out of bounds. All right.
Man, yeah.
Our next little segment before we get to our predictions and what we expect, which I don't know what to expect now. Our idiot of the week. Dennis and I do an idiot of the week every week now. Dennis, you want to go first with yours?
I was initially, I wasn't going to take it. It's too easy to say, oh, it's Freeman or this coordinator or that coordinator. And I wasn't going to throw a player under the bus. So the idiot fan base is myself and the fan base, because I mean, we drank the Kool-Aid and only just to be so let down and just keep going back for more. It's just I can't. I'm not gonna put so much into this anymore. It's if they lose or have a I never thought I'd say this in my whole life on this planet, but
my whole life on the planet.
Walking away from I don't think I could ever walk away from, because it's wonderful, but this is just madness, and there's no excuse for it now. The money and it's like, oh, this going back to all the stuff about, and we have our own channel, our own this, our own that. It's like, no, you don't. They were hyping up the Big Ten. I watched NBC all day Saturday. They're putting more effort into Big Ten. What Notre Dame is going to be, they're going to have their own streaming service, because Notre Dame is just going to be relegated like a soccer team in the Premier League that doesn't make it to Group A. They're going to get relegated to Peacock and FCF if they don't just. This whole idea of still being independent and stuff is madness anymore, because it's just that your luster is not shiny anymore, guys.
Well, after what Dennis told me the other day, I'm kind of actually glad he's here today, because I almost had to do the show solo. So he
the reason why I do this is because Evan is we go back so long, like 30 some odd year. I love him, and he became a super Notre Dame fan, even more so than me now, because of he's sticking to him, and I'm sticking to it too. It's just how much more does the alumni and fan base deserve? I mean, it's just too much money, and they're paying. To me, they're out for a supposed championship year. They're out whatever, almost $4 million on Leonard and NIU. So I want my return, motherfuckers.
And then I'm gonna do my idiot of the week. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback of Colorado.
Oh,
calling out his offensive line for the loss.
He just makes it hard on himself.
Why is he doing? I mean, like I
didn't even see that.
Like, you got to look it up.
It's like, dude, why? Nobody told you to go that way. So you could have said anything else. But his dad's like that. So
I know. Deion Sanders is one of my favorite. Is my favorite player of all time. So I can't.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a quarterback compared to a DB. DBs can do that. You know what I'm saying? DBs can do that.
Quarterbacks can be like, yeah, my own line sucked. Yeah, well, good luck next time when they go, oops.
We're just gonna let that guy go right by.
He's gonna get smacked at one point. One of their offensive linemen is gonna do it. Not an oh shit play. He's just gonna be like, you go.
But they're still doing oh shit whether they're trying or not.
Yeah, there was a lot of oh shit this past Saturday. Cincinnati almost lost. Penn State was down at one point to Bowling Green.
these MAC schools are coming on the rise, man.
Man.
Complex and transfer portals and all this, MAC
Yeah.
schools, I guess don't sleep on them. They beat number 5 team in the country.
Yeah. There you go.
It
MAC
might
action.
finish last in their conference. We lost to a team a year ago and had a Gatorade bath on our field, and they didn't win more than 2 games after that. Oh my goodness.
There you go. See,
Marshall was
that's my point, man.
Marshall.
This is outside of this silly scandal that the NCAA gave us. Meanwhile, they award a straight up program that's documented as cheating a national title. Yeah, we had to forfeit 20 some odd wins to take us down from the winningest program in college football history. I mean, do people realize the gravitas that Notre Dame used to have and how we invented the forward fucking pass? I mean,
we literally took the biggest dump on how the world looks at Notre Dame.
It's
like
just, yes, Rick Riley might be right from however long ago. Notre Dame may be irrelevant at this point in the college football world.
We're not irrelevant because I wouldn't say irrelevant. I think that we are
not feared.
Not feared, but the definition of they're going to Notre Dame every time, and it's hard to get out of that box.
Ooh,
when they say Notre Dame's going to Notre Dame, it's hard to get out of that box.
We're becoming that now. We're like the Cubs. Like even the Cubs won a goddamn World Series.
No, we're like the Sox. We're like the Sox. The Chicago White Sox.
Well, the Sox did win. All I'm saying is, again, 40 some odd years. I was 2 years old when they won in '77, and then I saw '88, and in my eyes, we should have split in '93 with Florida State. But I digress. With that being said, again, that is 40 years, maybe more. 43 anyway, and you got one national title, man.
Now we talk about 2012 because the loss was so bad.
Well, it's hard to. I mean, a magical season, but that was a NFL team against an Arena League team, man.
I love how Manti tried to act like he wasn't a part of that group that was looking like, oh shit, we gotta play.
Man, yeah. We all saw it. I remember exactly.
I saw the slow motion of you getting out of Eddie Lacy's way. I saw it.
Well, who
Eddie
wouldn't out of
Lacy
Eddie Lacy's way at that time? Holy hell!
Mack truck.
Oh, okay. What an amazing.
All right.
So far,
it's a good show after all.
So we have another actual game. We're only in week 3. Holy cow! So week 3, Notre Dame goes to Purdue on Saturday. Over under is 45.5. Notre Dame is favored by 10.5. I want to know what your predictions are, if you have a score or not. I'll let Millie go first.
Okay, cool. Because mine was really fast.
I got us hopefully getting 24. Hopefully 24-28. That's where we at.
Ooh,
which is 17 points worse than Jared Parker. So I hope we get the 24-28 range, find a way to score, find a way to get our receivers activated. And then hopefully, defense keep doing what they do, put them at 18 or less. Right now, which is really good.
It's not bad.
Really good. But you can't give up 200 yards in rushing. What is that? We've been plagued with that for years. Giving up 100 yards to backup running backs. Even though the kid may be good, there's no way.
Leave it to ND to make Kenny Pickett look good for a game.
We made Trevor Siemian draftable, Daniel Jones draftable, right? Daniel Jones was draftable.
Yeah.
We got Kyle McCord looking great. DJ Unongagale had his best game of his career at Notre Dame. Best game of his career. That was his first time ever playing. Fast forward 4 years, all different teams he's been to, hasn't played anywhere close yet.
Not even close.
And I'm like, so we give that guy the best game of his career. What do people think about Notre Dame?
Yeah, man. Oh, we are a meme now, or excuse me, a meme.
Yeah, the one speaking of
it's just a pun, a joke, a punchline. It's ridiculous, and I hope.
But it's funny because we're a great stepping stone for everybody else
except us.
Everybody that beats us or plays here or goes through here elevates to greatness. Brian Kelly elevated to $100 million contract at another school. Guys getting head coaching. Matt LaFleur goes to the Packers and is killing it.
Look at him.
You name them, and they do it. But then we always are taking the bunt of the joke. How does that work? It's like people don't give us no credit, but when they beat us, it's the greatest thing in the world. Louisville sold out the most fans they've ever had in history because Notre Dame came to town and we lost. And we lost. So anytime it's the record-breaking, biggest PR, greatest game ever, the other team just naturally has that against us. I don't know what it is. Maybe but I mean, think about it. We got what is it? 100-foot size Jesus right outside the stadium. Everybody love Jesus. I mean, hell, Jesus can't just be for us. So maybe when teams come in, they see, oh, we got Jesus on our side. Jesus for everybody. So hell, when you got a 100-foot Jesus statue, I'll be pretty confident too. I'm like, well, it can't be too bad. We got Jesus right here. So how rowdy can this place get? Come on now.
It is a nursing home, man.
I'll do my quick prediction. I have Notre Dame winning 27-14.
Okay, good. Yeah, you got me in the 28 range. I can't even get to 30s. I can't even get to 30s.
Last week I had 42-10. I was way the fuck off on that one. So yeah,
it should be. What did Georgia do? Georgia handles business. They played Tennessee State, put 50 on them like they should. Yeah, hell, they put 50 on Oregon. I remember they put 50 on Oregon when Oregon won 11 games.
Yeah.
That's the levels of difference. We are not anywhere close to that.
Not at all.
Georgia put
because we used to be
points on Bo Nix, Oregon, the first game of the season. They went and had 11 wins, bunch of yards, touchdowns. But that first game, they got beat like they shouldn't be ranked.
Destroyed. Yeah.
Dennis, what do you have for score prediction?
Score prediction. I'm gonna go Purdue 24, ND 20.
Okay.
You gotta lose.
That's best.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose in West Lafayette, man. Watch.
You can't do that. You can't
watch. Watch.
Well, I will say that
Purdue is gonna be loud and raucous. That stupid ass drum is gonna be banging. I mean, they're going to be obnoxious.
The biggest game of their life.
Notre Dame can say all the cool locker room and headline talk, and I'm telling you, that team is rattled, man.
So good thing, Malik. Dennis is 0-2 on his picks this year, just to let you know. So
last year I was perfect. Last year I was perfect.
You picked Texas A&M to win, and then he picked Notre Dame to win.
I couldn't go that far with you, though. I was with you until you said because we shouldn't lose. We shouldn't lose. Like it's
of course not. We shouldn't have lost to NIU.
It's still hard for me with that loss last week to think, how can we lose to this team?
I have zero confidence in this. If any of their Star Wars fans out there, like I have zero confidence. And I would vote to have the chancellor replaced, but we don't get any votes.
I took away that I didn't like from this entire experience is the fact that the players are quote unquote using the motivation from the fans. Wait a minute,
you're
gonna
listen to us knuckleheads, or at least this knucklehead.
Yeah, you're somehow more motivated that we're booing you when we came to cheer you on.
Right.
Understand that.
Give me something to cheer.
You're the one getting pushed back. You're the one that can't tackle. You're the one giving up touchdowns, can't get a touchdown. But you saying the motivation is from the fans.
I saw that too. Howard Cross said that. I was like,
we have an identity crisis or something. Like we have like a disconnect between reality and what it takes to win.
Yeah.
We're more pissed off that the fans booed than what we put out on the field.
Right. You should feel bad for letting us down. With that being said, though, you can't. You're right. That's your motivating factor.
We're going to take these boos and use them, and we're going to look past this. You can't look past this. You should use.
No, that's what I mean. You cannot. That's what I was saying earlier to Evan. I didn't mean to, but we can never forget this loss.
Riley Leonard's talking about, they're going to look at me. Yeah, we've been looking at you.
I didn't want you here. You should have stayed in Alabama. You should have stayed in Alabama. Matt, you should have stayed in Raleigh, man. Or you should have followed Elko to A&M.
He talking about bad eyes, bad feet, bad read, bad arm, bad. Yeah, it was all bad.
Yeah. Your mom tells you every game with your stupid bracelet.
You ain't talking about that bracelet then. See, the only one that I talked about this on the podcast, the only one I really believe when it comes to all that is Tim Tebow. Because guess what? Tim Tebow, when all the tumultuous shit was happening, he made praying cool. He made praying. He got on the knee, made the thing cool, and everybody started doing all that. Was
right.
I believe that.
Right.
Where is Matthew 23, 25, John, Romans, and all this when you lost? You talking about, it's going to be cool. Like, we'll move on. No.
He's got no fire and everything. He doesn't understand the magnitude of Notre Dame. You said all that earlier. It's just, it was a silly move by Freeman. And I guess Nick Saban might have said it best at the first game of the year when he's like talking about the transfer portal and NIL. It's like, you pay all this money, and then whatever he said, you might shit the bed or something like that, or you got to eat shit. Yeah, and right now we're eating. It's a big bowl of steaming ND shit, and I got a spoonful over my
baby spoonful.
Yeah, well, I wish it could be a baby spoon because it's a shovel, right? A fucking backhoe of shit.
And there's no getting out of it. That's why I said, Marcus Freeman, why would you put yourself in a box like this?
Right. It's rough. Anyway.
I like to promote Matt Shelton's book.
Yeah, you put the whole season on the line for a guy that is at a basketball school.
Yeah.
Rising through every fall.
Here we go, Matt Shelton.
Matt Shelton. I got to meet him last week at the Holtz's Heroes tailgate.
We could use some Holtz's Heroes.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. So one little tidbit about that. Those guys are amazing people. If you haven't checked them out, go to holtzesheroes.com. Reggie Brooks and those boys over there, and Lee Beckton. Those guys.
Whoo!
Malik, your sound's off, Malik.
Oh, Malik's muted himself.
It's funny you said I actually got to jump on with Reggie real quick.
Oh shit! Tell him I said hi.
But I will be back.
Tell them all hi.
You have a great one. Where can we find you besides the Lucky Lefty podcast?
Man, follow me anywhere on Twitter, man. Anywhere Notre Dame, I'm somewhere close.
Malik, you're awesome.
Thank you, Malik.
Have a great week. Until next time.
Pleasure meeting you, man. Ben Morrison, you better play it, Ben. Give me some picks, Ben.
And go Irish.
Go Irish.
Baby.
Later, Malik. Thank you.